Colorado just finished their first preseason practice, and Brian, for the first time in a long time, we're not down in our dark, dingy basement offices at home. I'm still getting adjusted to the sun. I feel like a vampire out here. It's been a minute.
I know. I need sunglasses and just kind of shed the light here. But yeah, it's nice to be out here and do one of these in-person interviews, videos. I think, boy, the last time we did that has to be almost 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, I would think so. The end of the 2019 season.
Yeah.
Maybe Karl Dorrell's presser, actually, I think would have been the last time, February of 2020.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And last week I had a chance to go to Media Day in LA and, told Nate Lamb and Dimitri Stanley and Karl, I'm like, this is the first time I've ever been anybody in person, since last June, and before that was really the season before. So it's been a long time, and it was nice today to be able to get out and talk to Karl in person, talk to some players in person. So it was kind of nice.
First day of camp brings out all of the TV stations. Before long, it's going to be just a few of us out here, but Karl Dorrell was obviously asked a lot about the quarterbacks, even if the TV crews weren't here. That's something we would have had to touch on. And he said he had a smile on his face because JT Shrout and Brendan Lewis showed well day one.
Yeah, you always like to hear that, and that they came out playing well the first day, and we'll see how they do throughout camp. But that's a competition that I anticipate will go several weeks into camp. And Karl did say that an announcement would be made towards the end of camp, but who knows how long it'll take for them to actually make that decision as who's actually going to start. But it is positive that both of them are playing well.
I had a chance to talk to two of the incoming transfers, Max Ray and Jack Lamb. And Max Ray's more of a private kid. I don't think anybody's really interviewed him until this point. With Frank Phillip, you had reported that news yesterday, likely to miss the first two or three games. Max Ray's practicing at left tackle, and I don't know if you want to put it in pen or pencil, but I think he's your starting left tackle.
Yeah, I think so. And from things I've heard, sounds like he might have been there anyway. I mean, they think Frank, some people think that Frank does really good on the right side. It might be even better there. So I would pencil in Max for left tackle for the season, and barring injury. And when Frank gets healthy, plug him in at right tackle again. So hey, Will Sherman had to do that, went from left to right, things like that. And so, we'll see how that shakes out in the future. But I think you're pretty solid with Max and Frank there as your tackles once they're both healthy. And I got to like that. I mean, to me, I feel good about the tackle spot when they're both healthy.
One thing I talked to Max was about the fact that the guys he was going against in practice every day are better than what most guys are going to face in regular games. So he brings a lot of experience, even though he didn't play in a ton of games there at Ohio State.
Yeah, and Jack Lamb's the same way. I mean, they both came from programs that I'm trying to think of last year. We're both in the college football playoff, I believe, or close to it. I can't remember last year, Adam. But I asked Jack the same thing. I know you talked to Jack as well, but asked Jack about how's the talent level when you're coming from a CFP team to this. And he said, well, it's different, obviously, but he said the talent level is better here than what he thought it might be because of the perception of CU that haven't been winning program. He goes, we can win the Pac-12 here. So he was actually kind of impressed with the talent level here and thinks it's better than he thought it was going to be coming in.
As we've known here for a little while, they're going to be multiple on defense. Jack Lamb has got to be pretty versatile there at inside linebacker. When they're three down front, he plays a certain position. When they go four down, he plays another position. So that's something we're going to hear. But we hear that it's going to be player friendly. It's challenging to be multiple yet player friendly. I'm anxious to see how this, Chris Wilson really handles this challenge that he's got.
Yeah, and it is a challenge, but I had a chance to talk with Nate Lamb at Media Day, and he mentioned that it is player friendly, and that he does feel like it's going to give a lot more guys the ability to get out and play and just use their talents rather than have to think so much. So it sounds like the early returns are that it's going well. They're picking it up.
You had a chance to talk to Terrence Lang, who missed some action this spring. How's he doing?
Yeah, he said he's healthy. He said he's ready to go, and he was actually doing some extra work out here on the field, after practice. So he feels like he's ready to go, and he's excited. He feels like he's more comfortable and confident than he ever has been at CU. So that's a good thing. Buff fans need to hear that because he is, arguably their best defensive lineman and maybe their most experienced.
The only thing missing with him is just consistency throughout his career here, or at least especially last year. He shows those flashes. Do you think he takes that step this year?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the final step for him, right? Is we have seen those flashes, but it is inconsistent. I think that's kind of the final step for him, or the next step for him is be consistent, be that way every game, every series, and it sounds like from talking to him that he feels like he's ready to take that step.
Carl Durrell said that the players are about 92% vaccinated, staff is about 97% vaccinated. So they're doing better than most programs out there. I know there's a lot of programs kind of in that 80% range. So
Yeah.
it's looking good for CU football this year, but I mean, Carl Durrell can only control what he can, and that's what happens out here on this field.
Yeah, and in addition to those numbers, he said there are some people that are in between their two shots, so they're not fully. So it sounds like that number would go up here soon. So yeah, I mean that's the thing. He's excited about the normalcy, but he said, hey, I'm just worried about if there's ever any setbacks. But he also said that if they get in a situation where they do have some COVID issues, he goes, we're going to play. He goes, we're going to play with whatever we have. So certainly if they've got 80 guys that have to be out, they can't do that. But it sounds like they're going to do whatever they can. I mean, if they happen to have an issue this year, and they didn't have any last year, and there weren't widespread issues with CU. So you hope that if it didn't happen last year, it won't be this year. But it sounds like that they're going to do whatever they can to play anyway.
I was busy interviewing the transfers, but Jarek Broussard spoke to the media as well. You heard a little bit of that, right?
Yeah, I was there for pretty much all of Jarek, and he's quiet and doesn't say a ton, but he's got that confidence about him, and you can just tell in his demeanor that this guy's ready to play, and he's got some confidence and is excited about the running back room. I did ask him about the workload last year where he was second in the country in carries, and I said, would you like to see that reduced? And he goes, I'm not going to complain about getting the football, but he does know that if those carries are being taken away because Alex Fontenot's running well and Ashad Clayton's running well, Josiah Davis is running well, that's a good thing.
Don't forget about Deion Smith, too.
Deion Smith and Jay Lee Stacks, if he's getting some goal line carries, whatever. If his carries are being taken away because those guys are running well, he feels like that's a good thing. And he feels like this run game is going to be really good.
I did hear him say when he was asked about shedding the knee brace, if he's faster now, and he said, we're going to find out on September 3rd. So we could talk for another 15, 20, 30 minutes, but this is a long month, Brian.
Yes.
So it's a marathon, not a sprint, so we'll sign off there.